Little cafe we find, you smile and say, connect. I stir my tiny espresso, pretend I don't suspect. All these quiet watchers, counting every sip. I turn my screen a little, let the password slip. I want my keys in the sand, not in your hand. My secrets drifting where the tide can't reach the land. Share what I choose and keep what I am close to my chest. I want my keys in the sand, not in your hand. 1,000 voices, not just one command. We'll whisper free in a crowded room and dance in our own little bloom. You say it's for convenience, I say it feels too tight. Like every step is labeled in the soft blue light. So we carve our own small circles where trust can take its time. Pass a coated napkin with a clumsy rhyme. I want my keys in the sand, not in your hand. My secrets drifting where the tide can't reach the land. Share what I choose and keep what I am close to my chest. I want my keys in the sand, not in your hand. 1,000 voices, not just one command. We'll whisper free in a crowded room and dance in our own little bloom. Maybe control was never meant for one. Maybe the sun belongs to everyone. So write our names in scattered constellations, each tiny light its own foundation. I want my keys in the sand, not in your hand. My secrets drifting where the tide can't reach the land. Share what I choose and keep what I am close to my chest. I want my keys in the sand, not in your hand. From every corner of this quiet span, we'll whisper free in a crowded room and dance in our own little bloom.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another week of the IFT Townhall. It was Keys in the Sand by some AI person. Thanks to Yuri for giving me that one. I was going for some Bossa Nova vibes. Hit for me. I don't know about you guys. Start off with a bit of, get the right screen up, announcements from the IFT, generally across the board. Lots going on as we ramp up for the all hands PS event offsites. So a few things here. The 30th of January is the last day to confirm your attendance. We are confirming hotel rooms. Please, if you've been postponing this, do it now, today, yesterday, so that we can plan accordingly and you don't miss out on what is going to be the best event we've ever had. Teams, please start planning who you want to talk to. This is specific around the offsites. So we have the kind of general structure is all hands. We come together, get excited, learn about progress, and then get ready to get into the community and talk to them during the event. And afterwards, we're going to kind of sit back and reflect, work off things that are discovered, get together. But the offsites afterwards are going to be a lot about cross-team collaboration. So start thinking about who you want to have conversations with, what you want to talk about, so we can plan accordingly. Please let me know. We have about 132 core contributors booked and confirmed. I know that we have more people in the organization than that. So that means that some of you are lacking and procrastinating. So go sign up. Everyone gets a ticket to the event. It's around 40 something euros for both days. It is encouraged if you also just buy your ticket, because this is a fundraising event for all of the efforts we have going on with logo circles and so on and so forth. So any proceeds that we make are going to go towards pushing the cause of logos. So in the event you can't afford it, please do. Or if you're bringing somebody, they're going to have to buy their own ticket. So only one ticket per CC. And the link is there in the description if you don't know where these details are, or in the notion you can search for it. So that 3kit.com is where you go buy your ticket. Next week, we're going to have another logo strategy update call. So a lot of the things that I would like to go over today in terms of development updates, roadmaps, the definition of the test net, things like this, will happen next week. And so we'll have a larger kind of internally focused broadcast on that. Look forward to that. If there's something there you would like to hear about, please let me know so I can include it. And given that, let's kick it off to a few presentations here. We'll start with, I thought I refreshed the page because I changed the order. Noelle, you're going to join us and talk about some sweet, sweet, sweet licensing.
Thank you, Corey. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon or good morning. So following on from Legal's town hall talk in early December about our licensing practices across the organization, I wanted to spend a few minutes walking through our open source licensing guidance that we've now published on Notion. So the goal here is to, I'll just blow this up a little so everyone can see it, but the goal here is to make sure we're all aligned with these practices and to reduce any existing and future risk for the org. So this work, some of you will remember, came out of a few real issues that we had seen in the last months. And this is highlighted in the previous town hall talk, but just very briefly, in case you missed this, we did find that there was sometimes some missing license files in our repos, some inconsistent approaches to licensing across our repos, and even some confusion as to what licenses we should be using under what project. So this guidance helps to achieve that alignment now and to fix those issues. And it's meant to be just practical, lightweight, and explicit about responsibilities across the organization when it comes to our practices. Some project leads would have already seen this, as well as some CCs, but I'll make sure it's shared widely after I give this talk. But also, if you want to quickly find it, it does exist under Legal's Notion page under CC resources and guidance here. Okay, so diving into this page, so this landing page really deals with three main questions up front, and you can see these here. So one, who maintains this guidance? That's Legal. Two, over here, who is responsible for actioning this guidance? And that's project leads. And three, how should you use it, or how we recommend you should use it? And that's just it being used as a reference point for all project leads, devs, and CCs as a whole. So this navigation panel over here is where I suppose we have the meatier information that's more relevant. So if I click into licensing overview, this page really explains why we care so much about licensing and the key risks we are trying to manage. So to summarize, if no license is specified in our works, then all rights are reserved by default by the relevant entity in our organization, meaning that community can't legally use or build on our work. And two, sorry, Corey, I just saw your message. Yeah, blowing that up. Two, if the wrong license is applied, then the code may be governed by terms we never intended, which can create some real legal and operational issues for us now and in the future. So just off that, the baseline rule is simply that every project must be explicitly licensed under an approved open source license. So beneath this intro section here, you'll just find some high-level information on the main licenses we do utilize across our projects. So here we have some the Logos projects and our approach for dual licensing here. And there's also mention of status and some documentation and website content, open source licenses. So going back to the main page, we have, before I go into the specific project dedicated pages, I'll go into roles and implementation, which I do think is important. I'll just make sure that all of this can be seen. Okay, so the responsibilities listed here really are important, and they're really the only way we'll be able to stay on top of our licensing practices as an organization going forward. Briefly, I mentioned this in December in our last town hall talk, but to summarize what's here, project leads are ultimately accountable for just ensuring the correct license is applied across their project repos, ensuring third-party code they may utilize is handled properly with correct attribution, and approving any deviation from defaults before publishing externally. Core contributors are expected to follow this guidance and flag uncertainty early, and even propose improvements or corrections to the guidance when something is unclear or incorrect even. And then the legals team's role would be to maintain this guidance, to advise on any edge cases that may come up, and even managing licensing risk, not so much the day-to-day enforcement of this guidance. Okay. So I'll go back to the main page now, and we could go to the dedicated pages. So I very briefly touched upon the status page back in the town hall presentation in December. But for the purposes of this call, I'll just go through the Logos page, which for the most part is very similar in setup to the status dedicated page here. So for Logos aligned projects, you'll see in this top section, there's an explanation that we use a dual licensing approach of the Apache 2.0 and the MIT license for Logos original code. That means that we publish or offer our code under both licenses, and any downstream users can choose one of these to comply with. So this next box here, this can be used as a decision flow and also as a quick mental checklist for devs or anyone writing the source code or utilizing third license code or whatever it might be. So for example, question 1, did you write the code yourself? If that's a yes, and if this is original Logos authored code, you can simply click on this link text here, and that will take you to the relevant part of the page on how to apply the correct license to your work. So I'll just quickly scroll down on what this includes. Sometimes this is mandatory, and sometimes it's just strongly recommended best practices that we would like to see as a practice that we do pick up in our works. So alternatively, in scenarios where we may use or modify third-party code, we also have a section, and it's on the decision tree here, where how basically to deal with these requirements and recommended best practices of using that third-party code. So for example, here you'll see different sections on different licenses that we may be utilizing under our code and complying with them as an Apache 2.0 MIT license project for Logos. Noting also, and it came up this week, that there are some projects not yet captured by this guidance. For example, Nimbus, Status Network, and KeyCard, just to name a few, have their own approach to open source licensing. And if helpful, I'll also include a dedicated project page for these projects too. So going back to the navigation panel here, we also have a resources and templates section or page that provides some helpful links to websites on official license text. And then finally, the FAQs page. Yeah, this isn't completed just yet, but as questions start to emerge, we can then consider what might be helpful to or useful to include here. Okay, and that's that.
Beautiful. Hey, look, it's backwards. I don't like that. Let's get rid of that. How can people, like, is it best to just go straight to the open source, find questions, then come to you?
Yeah, really it should be, okay, so people will already have a general idea of what to be using. There will be some nuanced scenarios maybe where they need to check with project leads at like first level, and anything else that may not be captured by this guidance or they might be unsure of, they can come to us and we'll assist where we can.
Logos channel, legal logos channel, probably the best one, so
Yeah,
that anyone
exactly.
can field it and not just you.
Yes, please. Thank you.
I added it to the show notes. So if you click on the description and the link in the description, you can get to it. But it's not public. Is that for a reason? Can we make it public? Is this something that we don't want to share more broadly? There's no
This
access.
page isn't public?
I'm not logged in, so like I can't see it from like if I look at the web page as a not logged in user for Notion, I can't see it. So right now, I guess it's only internal to core contributors. If it can be public, can we make it public?
Okay, yeah, let's look into that. For right now, like you mentioned, it's just for core contributors, but we can look into whether we can make this public.
Great.
No problem.
Thank you. Awesome. Thank you for this update. Go get your license, everyone. Bye. Up next, Aranima, talk about the new capability discovery protocol. Excited about this one. We'll also cover this, I think, in the the context of this in the roadmap update next week. So, but for now, let's learn about what it is and why it's important. Here you go.
Yeah, can I start now?
Have at it.
Can I start now?
Yeah, go ahead. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can I start now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so hello everyone. Today I will be talking about Logos capability discovery. So starting with why do we need it? Random walk discovery is slow for unpopular services. And also the current discovery mechanism suffers from load imbalance for popular services, create hotspots and overload, and also scalability issues that doesn't scale well across many distinct services. So that's why we came up with Logos capability discovery, and it's a discovery mechanism that's inspired by DiskNG and built on top of CAT-THT. And it enables nodes to advertise participation in specific services and efficiently discover peers providing those services. And most importantly, it also scales logarithmically across multiple services. So the Logos capability discovery has three main protocol roles: advertiser, discoverer, and registrar. Advertisers are nodes that participate in a service and want to be discovered by other nodes. Discoverers are nodes which are attempting to find peers that provide a specific service. And registrars are nodes that store and serve advertisements using an admission control mechanism that we will discuss later. And so, starting with how this thing works. Uh, the Logos capability discovery, it has two main parts: the advertise and discovery. So the advertisement works like this: the advertisers maintain a routing table, and they send register requests to registrars to register their advertisements there. And the registrars calculate something called waiting time and issues a ticket. The advertisers wait for the time that is mentioned in the ticket, uh, the waiting time, and after that a registration window opens up, and in that time the advertisers can register their advertisements in the registrars. Moving on to how the discovery works. So discoverers maintain their own routing tables, and they query random registrars from each bucket of the routing table to get advertisements for a particular service. And every registrar that the discoverers query return a fixed number of advertisements. Discoverers verify the signature in the advertisements returned by the registrars, collects the peer IDs, and stops when they have found out sufficient advertisements for a particular service. And uh, the registrars admit advertisements into their advertisement cache through by calculating a waiting time. So the waiting time is calculated using this formula where the occupancy scores, the IP score, and all these parameters, they help in controlling various kinds of attacks by providing more waiting time to malicious actors and less waiting time to the honest peers. Okay, so the logo's capability discovery is built on top of CAT-THT, and it is 100% backward compatible. We have two new RPC messages that we are adding on top of CAT-THT. One is the register, another is the get ads. The register is sent by advertisers to registrars to register their advertisements for a particular service, and the get ads request is sent by discoverers to registrars to get advertisements for a particular service. And yes, it is 100% backward compatible. Standard CAT-DHT messages remains unchanged, and non-logos nodes can simply ignore the new message types. So this is the link for the VAC forum post, and I invite everyone to go through it and provide us feedback. So the post looks something like this. So please visit it and share your feedback. You can find the link to the RFC and the POC here, and I will be sharing a demo of the POC. And the POC link is here. You can scan the QR code shared here to get the link to the POC. And once you go to the link, this is where the POC is, and the README file has the instructions to set up and run it. So yes, to run the test, you can run this. I will skip this for now because running the test will take all the test will take up a lot of time. What I will be focusing on in the demo is running the large scale tests. So yes, let's open the code. And the instructions to run this is here in the README file. So I invite everyone to go ahead and try it. Just copy paste it from here. And then, so before running the test, everyone can modify the parameters that are there in the configuration file. It is inside the folder LCD in the confco file, and we can simulate a large network use by modifying these parameters. We can modify the number of registrars, advertisers, discoverers, the number of popular services, the number of unpopular services, the advertisements present in the network for popular services and unpopular services. And yeah, we can modify these and a few other parameters regarding the performance tuning to check out the results. Let me run it. So we can see that the tests are running, and soon it will print out the statistics for the popular and unpopular services. So here we can see that by modifying the parameters, we can analyze the time, the average discovery time, the minimum discovery time, the maximum discovery time, and compare the results between the popular services and the unpopular services. And we can see that for popular services, the average is much higher than the unpopular ones. So yes, in this way we can modify the parameters and test things out. Um, Next one we can go is we can go to this playground.md file, which again is the link is there in the README, and we can start our own registers, advertisers, and discoverers, and make them connect with each other. And yeah, then we can choose the various options that are there. The options when we start a discoverer, advertiser, and registrar is explained here what each option means. So now I will do a quick walkthrough of a small tutorial and show how nodes work together. So the minimum setup required for discovery mechanism to work is that the advertiser should be connected to a registrar, and it should register its advertisement in the registrar, and then the discoverer should be able to connect to the registrar, and from there get the advertisement for the particular service. So let's try it out, and I hope things work well. Yeah. So to try this, we can do it with 3 terminals from our local machines. First, I will try to start a register. So let's try with port 4000. And I will keep the service identifier as Vocomix. So yes, and it's very important that we copy this peer ID so that we can use it later. For now, I will copy it here. Okay, let me start an advertiser next, and the steps to run this tutorial is there in the playground.md file, so anyone can go ahead and try it out. Let me start an advertiser here, and I will use the same service string that I used for the register, that is Vocomix. So the next thing that I have to do here is connect the advertiser to the register so that it can register its advertisement there. And yeah, I will click here, connect. The register multi-address. So register is working on this multi-address since we chose the port as 4000. And peer ID, we can get it from here. Let me copy it. Yeah, so we can see that the advertiser is now connected to the register, and now I will start the advertise process. And we will start seeing a lot of logs here. Now let me try running the discoverer and see if we can discover the advertisements. Type 3 for discoverer, port for discover, let me keep it 5000, and we'll keep it same, Vocomix. Now, as a next step, we have to connect the discoverer to the register so that it can find out what are the advertisements in the register for the particular service. And yeah, connect. Again, the register multi-address will be same. Let's me copy it here. Your ID should be this. Okay, so now the discoverer is connected to the... I'm sorry, I think it stopped. Just give me a minute. Okay. Sorry, my system hanged. No worries, I can start the demo again. Is my screen still visible?
Yep, we can see everything. The demo gods are unfavorable today.
Yeah. I just hanged the wrong time. Let me try.
So while you get that set up, I think it's useful to kind of give context on like why I think this is this protocol is important and where it kind of fits into the larger screen. You can get it set up, and I'll just talk for a while.
Yeah, sure.
Is that like, imagine you're going to run logos, and when you first start the node, depending on what dApps you're going to be running through logos, you need to find, your dApps are going to leverage various types of services. And depending upon what those services are, they may need access to different networks. And we're all kind of, in an effort for efficiency, we want to try and reuse as many of the networks as we can so that your computer isn't trying to basically manage 16 different DHTs or peer-to-peer networks and so on and so forth. And so what you want to happen is that you start your node, and then your node is able to ask the question, I care about these services. What nodes do I need to connect to? And so the capability discovery protocol allows your node to start and say, like, and then ask for the right nodes to find who's providing the services that you care about, so you can set up your network efficiently and quickly at the base layer and in like a real peer-to-peer context where you don't require like centralized nodes to basically manage these things for you. And it's been something we haven't had for a long time across the board. And I'm very excited that like we're starting to initiate this concept of allowing the nodes to log in, search around for the nodes that it needs based on whatever it wants to do, connect quickly, and then start consuming those services for whatever decentralized application they're using. Perfect timing.
Can I start it?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Yeah, let me try once again, and I hope my system doesn't hang this time. So let's try connecting. Yeah, it's connected. So let me start the advertise thing here. And the lookup here. And yeah, so it was able to find the advertiser and the advertisement for it. So yes, it worked this time.
Awesome. That's really awesome. It's really nice that this is available to us now, because this is one of the core things we need within Logos in order for anyone to kind of, like I was talking about earlier, start up a Logos node, find the correct nodes that they need to connect to for whatever services they happen to care about, and then start connecting to those machines, so without having to overload their machine with managing a bunch of different networks simultaneously or get bombarded with all these messages they don't care about. You want to make it such that every individual node only connects to the machines that they need to and not anything else, and try to get to that as much as you can. In order to do that, you need something like a capability discovery. So this is awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, so thanks everyone, and thanks to the Diskenji team and the CAT DHT team. We use the Logos capability discovery is highly inspired from Diskenji, and we use the components of CAT DHT to build the POC. And yeah, thanks everyone.
Where can
Open
people
for any-
go to learn more, play around, ask questions? So the POC link to
Yeah.
play around, and then go to the forum
Yeah,
to.
you can just go to the FLAG forum post, and you'll have the RFC link as well, the POC link on the post. So yeah, you can go here and find out more on what we are working on and share your feedback. That will be super helpful for us.
Yes, please do. Go try it out. Share feedback. Great. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thanks.
Up next, we are going to bring Johnny on, my main man, Johnny. Let's talk about the Logos Content Army.
Thanks, Corey. So yeah, the Logos Content Army is a pilot program we're rolling out right now. And the primary goal here is to just amplify Logos message across social media through strategic short form video and text content. Basically, we're going to be inviting clippers or content creators to the program where they create engaging video content and also text posts that communicate the core pillars, showcase our tech, and build our movement. Really, we're just kind of incentivizing people to create content and push the message across social. And we're going to be rewarding people for content that performs well. So the program itself is based on a CPM model. So on per 1,000 views, you'll get paid out accordingly. And we're focusing on X, Instagram, and TikTok. So primarily on X, but then introducing Instagram and TikTok just to see how the content performs. Let let's get into this. So once again, this is certainly a pilot program to start right now. There's a lot of probably things we can fix and make better. So we're going to be inviting around 15 to 20 creators to join the program to start. A few people have already expressed interest and have already been making content on the Logos behalf. So we were inviting those people in and just inviting, a core group in to learn and refine the program. And this all, the program lives in Discord. So you can find a link here, and then we'll also share out an invite link in Discord. And if you're interested, please message us. And the way the program works, it's pretty simple. Basically, you'll join the Discord channel, you'll review the guidelines, the rules, the terms, and then you'll create an account. So creators will create accounts on X that show support for Logos and create a username that incorporates Logos in some way, also indicating that it is you're part of this program. An example is, I don't know, something like Logos Clips or Decentralized Future. And then also include in your bio, right? We're building the future with Logos Network, really just signaling your support for the program. And then once you join the Discord channel, you'll have just, we have all the guidelines outlined here on a landing page with the goals, the platform strategy, our distribution approach. And there are tutorials and just, there's help to create your account across the different channels. And we'll come back here. So once you're set up, then you'll review the various tutorials that we've got. Here we can jump here. We've got tutorials. Sorry, wrong one. Actually, sorry, I'm going to come back here. Apologies. So yeah, you'll review the tutorials that we've provided. We've created some really interesting example posts. You can kind of see what we're looking for. And then we've also provided tutorials and guidelines for using AI for prompt generation. We're encouraging people to use 11 Labs for AI voiceovers. And then also we've got, we recommend people use CapCut for editing content. It's really simple editing tool, but feel free to use anything you'd like. And here we can then now jump into... So here on these landing pages, we've got prompts and tutorials for using things like 11 Labs. I won't go into the details here, but there's a lot of information for people to kind of just figure out how to produce good quality content. And all of this is here. And then we've also got tutorials for using CapCut, things that we've found that just make engaging content, obviously, kind of leading with a hook in the first 5 seconds and all that stuff is in here, which is great. And then lastly, people will then create their content, they'll post it. We're looking for 3 primary types of content. As mentioned, AI voiceover videos, right? So introducing certain concepts around privacy, around decentralization, around text. And then as mentioned before, we've got these tutorials and these like AI prompts for you, so you can easily create the content. The second type of content are X posts, right? Create some daily posts based on prompts that we've provided or whatever you feel is necessary, what you think will engage. And then lastly, founder clips, right? So we've provided then a library of assets from various podcasts, from keynotes from the team. And then so we'll provide those assets to people, and then they can use CapCut and the AI voice generation to overlay their own video on top of the material that we've provided. And then lastly, once you've posted, we encourage people to, manage the account, right? Respond to comments, try and drive engagement. If one post is performing well, and make sure that you're responding to people in there, because that will just boost engagement. And then lastly, so once you've posted, and we recommend that you kind of let the post sit for a while and try and get as many views as possible, because we will be issuing payments based on a CPM model. So you want the content to get some traction. We've created a ticketing system in Discord. So once you're ready to submit your asset or submit your post, you'll have just a quick description of the video. You'll include the format, right? It's a 30-second video or it's a text post, what channel you've used, and then a link to the post, right? So it will need to be public. And then in the submission, you'll include how many views the content has. And so once again, it's important that you note the submission is based on how many views, the payout is based on how many views the submission has upon posting. And then the logos team will review the content and make sure that it meet requirements, that doesn't say anything that goes against the guidelines. And then also we'll be looking out for any kind of, botting or gaming of the system. And if everything looks good, we will issue the payout, right? So for now, we require that people, basically they'll just send an invoice and then we'll pay that at the end of the month, and we can issue payments in fiat or in crypto. And to start, right, once again, we're just kind of learning how this works. The CPM will be 50 cents. And so really trying to drive, content that goes viral across the different platforms. And then to start, right, we'll have like a $2,000 budget, $2,000 budget for each month. And then as submissions are sent in and approved and payments are issued, the amount will go down. And we'll be sending announcements in the Discord channel of how much budget is left. So content creators can know how much is available and, produce more material or less, depending on what that is. And that's it, right? Right now, this is very much a pilot program. We're going to see how it goes. There's probably a lot of things that, we can make better, that more tutorials that we can provide, guidance we can provide, and just really help people make high quality content. And then we'll go from there. And so right now, once again, we want to keep this relatively small because we're still kind of learning how this goes. But we'll send out a wider message in Discord on Monday, just inviting people in. If you're interested in joining right now, send us a note in Discord and we can send you an invite link to this channel. And we're excited to see how it goes.
Nice. Memes are going to be coming.
Lots of memes and quality content, right? If you look at the examples that we provided,
memes can be quality content.
You're right. I apologize. But if you take a look at some of the examples that are in the Discord, we've provided a bunch of material. I think with the tools and tutorials and material that we're providing, we can get some really, really good things.
Yeah, I'll keep trying to make the long form stuff because I really suck at the short form stuff.
Yeah, that's a good point. Also, one thing to note, we're starting with these 3 types, right? Video, kind of edits of our content, and then also text. But as we start to roll it out, we'll be incentivizing, longer form blog articles, technical diagrams, things like that.
Great. Nice. All right. Thanks, man. Anything else?
That's all.
Appreciate it. Keep it rolling. All right. That is it for the, presentations. Now more of a conversation. Amelia, let's talk about circles.
Let's talk about circles. Okay, so what I have to discuss, I can tell kind of the story of what happened in Logos since we started the circle in Lisbon and in Porto. And then maybe at the end, we can have a discussion around the rolling out the engagement ladder and stuff like model, if that sounds good. Okay. I am going to share my screen. And this is kind of lame, but I'm going to present a X thread just to kind of remind me and assist me and show you guys some visuals of what we've been doing. Yeah, so in Lisbon, we hosted the first circle in May last year. And we did this alongside NFC, which is not the most value-aligned conference with Logos, but we were wanting to do the first circle in May, and we thought, okay, this is a good idea for us to kind of get some extra people here, and just kind of test out how this idea of circles resonates in the crypto and Web3 space. Because we're really trying to do something different, right? Like, we're not just having these networking meetups. We're trying to create these local communities of people who are activists and want to make change in their local communities. So that's our winnable issues. So it was an incredibly positive experience, this first one. Seeing people excited and engaging with this ideas of starting to use these technologies again in a grassroots way, with use cases that really can help people and help communities. It became apparent quite quickly that this was an idea that was resonating quite broadly across kind of the Web3 space. So it took some time for us to build up a core returning group to the Lisbon Circle. So we started doing some more outreach. And in July, we went to an activist and artist residency in Talud. So Talud is a community on the northern outskirts of Lisbon. It's a diasporic neighborhood, so it's lots of different communities of people, mainly from Santo and Cape Verde. And it was very interesting. This artist residency was from an organization, a collective called Mais Uno Mais And they had this idea of turning Talud into a temporary autonomous zone over the summer and kind of running various types of artist workshops and activities for the residents. There's a lot of poverty really in this neighborhood. And an important thing here is there were a lot of informal housing. So kind of makeshift houses as well as more established housing. And so while we were there, it was quite shocking. For not the first time, the police came in and started demolishing these kind of informal housing that were built there. The owner of the land had given permission for people to structure their houses there. It's not an ideal situation, but there's a huge housing crisis in Lisbon. I saw something a few months ago that was per income, Lisbon has the highest priced housing in Europe. So these people are coming in, lots of them are coming from African countries. It's very hard for them to start entering the workforce and like finding established housing. There's not very much social housing in the city. And so, yeah, we start having, this is not the only place in Lisbon too, where these makeshift housing communities start popping up. So the police come in, the first day they're starting to demolish the buildings. And there are a lot of kind of activist communities are moving in, us included, and they do not have the correct legal permits to be destroying these houses. So despite the police being presented with this fact, they still came back the next day and continued demolishing everything. So there are, it was like 160 residents that lost their homes. There were families, there were disabled people, there were people in a completely crisis situation for all these people that lost their houses. One thing that came out of that was we were connected with an artist called Batu, who was also working with this community in Quinta do Moncho. It's a neighboring community. They're kind of 20 minutes walk away from each other. And you can see in this photo, there's also a lot of kind of informal housing in Old Moncho. And what was upsetting about kind of moving into Quinta do Moncho and starting to work there is Quinta do Moncho, it's a social housing neighborhood. So there is a more established part of this community. They're not amazing apartments, but yeah, they're social housing. It's okay. They're formal constructs. And Quinta do Moncho, there are a lot of artists and creatives that live in this community. It's another diaspora community, mainly people from other Portuguese-speaking nations in Africa, and who have then kind of moved in, either first or second generation immigrants into Quinta do Moncho. And it used to be the neighborhood with the largest outdoor art gallery in the world. So there was famous street artists from all over the world came, and they they did these different pieces of work on the social housing estate. But a few years ago, the local government decided that they essentially didn't want to have that art there anymore. And they kind of saying that we're cleaning up the neighborhood, but them kind of losing that gallery meant that they lost their ability to do things like tours in the neighborhood that was making them money. It had put this community on the map. So in the last few years, it's starting to become less and less advantaged again since they lost that. And there is more people being pushed out of the more formal social housing in Quinta do Moncho into these informal communities. So like this picture here, this is it's an informal construction that is on the outskirts of this community. And our fear is that at some point the police are going to come in and demolish this again. And there's just not enough happening to protect the people who are in the limited social housing from being evicted. There's a lack of transparency with policy across Portugal in everything, quite honestly. We see this with cultural associations being closed down all the time right now because it's not clear what alcohol licensing laws are. We see that with people who are waiting for their residency permits, like me. I've been waiting 2 years for this. And so this is really, really hitting people hard, especially people who are less capable of advocating for themselves. And it means we see more and more of these informal, like I used to live in Brazil, these would be favelas. It's like kind of like a favela style communities popping up in Lisbon, in Europe. I had, quite frankly, no idea that these existed in the city that I was living in before we started working on this. So yeah, we started building quite close ties with the leaders in Quinta do Mocho, and we were kind of asking how as a circle we can support them. And one of the things that came up was they were discussing for a long time creating a short film about the struggles of their community, how, you know, even though a lot of them are second generation immigrants, they're still facing the same struggles that their parents and their families faced when they came in due to policy issues, prejudice, people getting trapped in poverty cycles. And so we did this kind of outreach with everyone in the community. We created these flyers as part of our campaign leading up to Parallel Society as well, inviting all the artists, all the creatives, anyone locally who wanted to get involved in creating a short film about these challenges in Quinta do Mocho, and we will present it at Parallel Society festivals. So that was kind of our first winnable issue we started working on. And yeah, we then went on to showcase the trailer at Rare Effect Festival, which happened in November in Lisbon. And yeah, there's a short recording of the panel here. This is Vanya and Bangura, who are the community leaders in Quinta do Mocho, kind of explaining some of their story, explaining the challenges of the neighborhood. I definitely recommend listening from Vanya. She's an amazing speaker. She's actually a tech founder as well. She's built an app, she's written books. She's an amazing kind of success story to come from this neighborhood. Hopefully she'll come to Parallel Society and everyone can meet her. So yeah, that film and engaging with the local artists there, bringing the community to Rare Effect Festival in Lisbon, this was our first kind of win as a circle. Like, we were really able to help this community tell their story. And yeah, we just have a trailer for the film right now. The final version's being finished, but just it's starting to kind of show people outside, this is the realities of what's happening, you know, even in the social housing community situations aren't great. But beyond that, it's these informal housing that if there's not a change to housing policy, if there's not a solution, we'll see more and more informal communities popping up at the whim of the police, you know, kind of coming in and destructing it when it fits them. And then there was another big win we had last year with Quinta do Mocho. We were able to support them in getting a community space from the local government office, the Freguesia. So we had an appointment with the local government. We all went there as a circle, and yeah, there were about 7 of us that turned up. The Freguesia didn't open that day. So we had a booked appointment. We'd been promised this space, well, we hadn't, Quinta do Mocho had. And they just didn't open. And while we were waiting there, we were like filming, we were recording this. About 10 other people from the local community showed up as well. The local government didn't see anyone that day. So it was just a complete lack of respect for people in this community. And we followed up with email, we CC'd them, and we kind of created this pressure group where eventually in November last year, we were able to Vanya was able to get the keys to the community space for Quinta do Mocho. And it's somewhere as a circle, we really want to be running workshops. We want to be like using the industrial kitchen there to be doing like hot breakfast mornings for the children and a lot of initiatives like that. So we're planning kind of how we can continue supporting this year through that community space. And yeah, that's pretty much it for Lisbon. We did a big donations drive in December, especially for kind of kids and winter clothing and books. And Jesus brought empanadas for the circle, which was super nice to enjoy.
That's awesome. Kudos to you for taking the initiative in all of this and working and driving through some of the difficulties that you've experienced throughout doing this type of thing. Like, for those that are interested in circles, like, can you talk about your personal experience in trying to start this and then its growth into what it is today, and like having some results and what that's like?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, Lisbon's also not the only circle I've worked with, but what I've seen across all the circles I've been more involved with is it really does take time to find a group of people who actually want to do this work. And people aren't really used to it, especially people coming from the Web3 space. They want to have the philosophical discussions, they want to network, but asking people to actually spend their free time to volunteer on something and go somewhere that's going to take them 45 minutes to get outside the city and a neighborhood that some people have expressed they don't feel safe even going to. That's quite a challenge, but where generally we found the most success is finding these more niche communities that are more in the activist space than necessarily a general kind of Web3 crowd. So especially in Lisbon, it's been outreach with activist artist communities and privacy activist communities as well, where those people have really kind of wanted to knuckle down and help us. But yeah, it can be just quite disheartening, I guess is the word, where you can see kind of even in the thread from May to July, we don't really have any updates. Like May to July was just like trying to find the right people, trying to find the right issue that people actually would want to spend their time volunteering on. So it does take time. I'm hoping the more circles and the more winnable issues we have, the more we share our learnings, it will be quicker for us to get there. But yeah, the feeling of, when we were at Rare Effect and we were having this panel with Bangura and Vanya, and one of the things that they said to us was, Bangura said this specifically, he's got his friends who are rappers coming into Quinta de Mocha, and he's giving them the logo zine, and he's like, yeah, everyone loves logos, like you guys, you come in here and you listen to us and what we need, and you're not just trying to come in and then post something. Like they really respected that, right? And so that's really rewarding to kind of know that you can have some positive impact in communities, and actually listening to what people need is a lot easier than trying to guess what it is as well.
Yeah. How do you feel as like, because you've been paving the way a lot of this, and like how we do this, what works, what doesn't, trying and different things. How, like, I know that the I guess circles improvement proposal that Santi introduced is an idea of like introducing structure or organization that's fed from grassroots movements. Do you see that being something that can help in expediting this path towards getting people on board and helping and having like recurring growth, or like the people staying there, taking some ownership of certain parts of it and then actually having impact?
I really hope so. I mean, it makes sense. And I think it speaks to just general human nature that people want to have more ownership of work that they're already doing. And it is I don't want to say a reward, but it feels good. If you've been volunteering in a group for a few months and someone formally asks you, would you like to steward the growth of this circle to help it? Like that's the positive, great, rewarding thing. But at the same time, there have only been kind of 2 circles we've tried formally rolling this out in. In Lisbon, it was something that's been informally happening since the volunteering started. Everyone kind of has their niche already in what people have been doing. With circles, anyone who's ever attended a circle, kind of the format. So we sit in a circle and we all introduce ourselves, our background, and why we're interested in this work. And kind of as the steward, being able to hear that and understand people's motivations and people's expertise is super important, because then when it gets to the point where you have a winnable issue, you're ready to start working on it, you know who the relevant people are to ask for their support, right? If you have a developer, you can ask them something technically related. You wouldn't ask an artist to code the website, right? So I think it's kind of inherent in the structure that this is the next step. This is something that we're already doing. We're already getting to know each other's skills, and we're already sharing work and volunteering based on that. I think where it's really important that we formalize this now, and especially as we are, creating a a CRM. We're going to be using Civi CRM to formalize this and mark people as volunteers and be able to track this better and grow. I think it's really important that people do kind of have more ownership over those areas they're contributing to, because this can't become a situation where we have stewards doing 90% of the work or 80% of the work, because it's too much. This needs to really become something more driven by all the volunteers in the circle. And actually, Enugu is the other circle where we've already started having discussions about this engagement ladder and these more formal roles. So it just so happened that 4 different people from Enugu, Nigeria had reached out to wanting to start a circle there. So we were able to get them all on a call together. And I presented the engagement ladder to them and said, okay, we need at least 2 of you to co-steward it and share these responsibilities, but it could be useful to actually start thinking already about where your expertise fits into these roles based on kind of general winnable issues. Like it's quite tough because depending on what issue you work on as a circle, the needs and requirements of roles are going to look very different. But yeah, it was great to already see a group getting ready to launch a circle and thinking about where their skill set fits in and what they can do there. Awesome.
This is great to see it grow and mature over time. And for those who are interested who are watching, like, we're going to have stewards at the event in Lisbon. That's going to be awesome to be able to be with them, hear from them, learn from their experience in doing these things, so that when we make new ones, we do it better. And we've also, gotten some budget to have them up as a part of the all hands, so they get to like be a part of the, like, see how the sausage is made, and hopefully ignite some more passion in them and like understand that like all of the stuff that we're doing that's involved with trying to push this, they can get more excited, more in line, find issues that kind of this all fits together. So I'm really excited for kind of all this to come together. Those who want to learn about what circles are doing, how to get involved, how to make new ones, can learn from those of you who have been doing it. And then those of you who have been doing it can learn about what we're trying to do to amplify it with the technology. So like, this is great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to kind of say or talk about?
I have a lot of tabs open to talk about what we've been doing in Porto, but I feel like that's for another day, maybe next week, because Porto is another really good example, and it's actually a technology-driven winnable issue. So we're building this privacy app for domestic violence survivors. But yeah, let's do it next time if you want. I
think next week we're going to try to do the logo strategy update next week. I don't expect it to be that long, so maybe we can like finish up with that part of it, because that's more tech driven. I think most of the updates there are going to be tech driven, and so we can go from like roadmaps into eco dev into like the ecosystem itself with you. That could work out.
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
See you soon. Last but not least, we're out of time, but Lujan has informed me, that's also circles related, that we're sponsoring an event called the People's Reset in Central Mexico. Let's see, I have a link here. Let me bring up my thing. Let's see, this copy link. Where are you here? We have the People's Reset in Central Mexico. It is free for Mexican citizens. If you would like to join, it's going to be from January 28th to the 1st of February. We're going to have a large Logos, what's the word I'm looking for? Presence there. And we'll also be doing a logo circle in the hotel bar of this event during the event. If you're interested in joining and want to learn more, please talk to Sterling. He can get you hooked up, get you all the information you want to know about. But this is kind of a nice collaboration that we're having. So if you're in the area, you want to join, talk to Sterling. Free for Mexican citizens. If you're not, Sterling can probably hook you up with something. Let's see what else we have. We'll be pushing Farewell to Westphalia during the event. And that's all I got. Have a good week.